Welcome to the Mengchi Center for the Promotion of Historical Knowledge. My name's Shakbout, and I'll be your guide today. I always paused after this introduction to gauge the group of visitors and get ready for another cycle of the winner's history recited by one of the losers. The group I was about to lead on a short tour through the carefully edited and constructed narrative that the center preferred to broadcast was the usual spread of off-world tourists and local school students. Since everyone looked ready, I started by leading the group over to the imposing, in fact absolutely astounding, image on the west wall of the lobby. The image was huge, over 2 meters tall and 3 meters long, hovered close to but not touching the wall. It was 1.5 meters off the ground, and as we assembled in front of it, we all looked up at the exact angle that the maker of the image had wanted. Standing at that point, it appeared that we all stepped into the image and became an active audience for the event taking place in front of us. We stood in the doorway of a long rectangular room with rows of columns down each side. Each viewer saw different patterns on the columns. I saw something different each time I stepped into the room. I sometimes saw flowers. Sometimes I saw blood. Once I saw bodies trapped in the columns, writhing in pain. Directly in front of us, a handsome woman, no one ever described her as beautiful, dressed in a clearly high-ranking military uniform, was driving a double-headed war axe into the skull of a somewhat fishy-looking life form standing before her. She did not look upset or furious or murderous, simply determined. This was a woman clearly doing something that needed to be done. There was no blood, which always disturbed me. There would have been blood, oceans of blood spilling out on the floor of the CPHK. Blood should have been gushing over us as we stood in front of the image. Instead, we stood safe and clean in front of it. I started my information fog machine and spoke. The creator of this image is unknown. No record has ever been found of who created it, when it was created, where it was displayed, or if it was in fact displayed anywhere before its discovery in a submerged warehouse in Lake Zan, following restoration work carried out on the Outer Banks 150 years ago. I took the scripted pause before continuing. There's some debate about the subject of this image. The current majority opinion is that it shows the triumph of Hardly, a god from the Olean Ranger cycle, over the assassin sent by her jealous cousin. Gazes were riveted. So far, so good. The image is woven from trapped light, fractured air, and some unidentified crystal dust with an unknown process. This level of magical mastery has arguably not been demonstrated again. The Standing Committee wishes to preserve this image as a unique viewing experience. It should only be seen and appreciated in its original form. I paused, allowing them to study the picture while I waited for the question. This time it came from one of the students. "Can I get a copy of the image?" he asked with that acquisitive tone the question always rests on. "I'm afraid not, but there's a range of very attractive items available in the gift shop, which we'll visit at the end of the tour." I waited for the regulation 2 seconds, turned and headed for the stairs, confident the group would follow. My shadow stayed behind, staring at the image. My shadow was a dangerous mental necessity for me to survive intact in the job. It provided an alternative script, saying words I longed to say but dared not. They had to be voiced somehow, or the pressure inside would become so great I might do something extremely stupid.